Growing up on Vietnamese theater, I realized we've got some wild folklore. My favorite is Jing Tam Cam, basically Vietnamese Cinderella. In the story, Tam snags her stepsister's chance with the king, and so her stepsister and stepmom start crashing out. In revenge, they steal her shrimp. It's a big deal in the Nam, trust me. Then, they kill her emotional sport fish, and then straight up murder her 4 times. Girlie had to reincarnate thrice before eventually she marries the king and becomes queen. And on Tam's first day in office, she cooks. Literally. Boils her stepsister into fish sauce and feeds it to their mom. In a story meant for kids. Safe to say, Tam's family was a bit enthralled in revenge. The same way we all are. Whether it's revenge stories on TikTok and Reddit or Drake v. Kendrick diss tracks, the death penalty, or war. Everywhere, we glorify revenge as empowerment, the redemption of an underdog. When we feel wronged by someone, we feel obligated to make them suffer in return. To even the scales, give them a taste of their own medicine because, hey, they deserved it. This logic has become our mechanism for justifying almost any harm or cruelty. Because as therapy professor Dr. Jason Whiting articulates, it is easier to hurt someone if we feel like it was done in the name of justice. But I'm worried that if we continue to derive our sense of justice from someone else's pain, that we'll only feel inclined to cause more of it. Or worse, never address our own pain. So let's first dissect our inclination to revenge. Then, analyze the cost of doing so before finally discussing solutions. So, maybe fish saucing your stepsister is a little much in the Nguyen household. You touch my shrimp, I'll make you limp! If I wasn't a wimp. Because whether it's sibling back and forths, or our punishment fits the crime justice system, we get even because we're taught justice means matching harm. In her article, Why We Seek Revenge and What to Do Instead, Ali Volpe explains, revenge stems from our desire to maintain order. Hurt the person hurting you so they can't hurt you any further. We think, if I replicate my exact pain on you, you'll understand why you should behave better. The issue is when we begin to confuse revenge with justice. A psychology professor, Dr. Leon F. Seltzer, clarifies. Justice is about righting wrong, while revenge is emotional regulation. And that's when we cross the line. When we retaliate intending to regulate strong emotions like anger or grief, we don't stop at balance. We escalate in search of release, even if it comes at the cost of resolution. Because, let's be honest, ain't nobody trying to make amends when you get cut off in traffic and they honk at you. From the road to our capital, we do this. When January 6th rioters stormed DC, touting justice, one proclaimed, death is the only remedy for the stolen election. Another threat to slaughter Democrats. And this January, even after achieving both the death of Democrats and Trump's return, freshly pardoned Capitol writer Enrique Tarrio still invades. Democrats need to pay. Revenge might feel good, feel right even, but it doesn't fix anything, not even our own grievances. It only reincarnates the same injustice that we claim to oppose. Apparently, Tam's stepmom thought the sauce was pretty gas, until she found the stepsister's skull at the bottom of the bowl. Likewise, vengeance tastes good until it supersedes progress. Last December, when Luigi Mangione exacted his revenge by killing the United Healthcare CEO, nationwide. We celebrated. To people like me, whose mom ignored crucial health concerns due to expensive insurance, he became a symbol of justice. In hindsight, it's empty. Granted, Luigi initially sparked crucial class awareness and outrage. 6 months later, and it's fizzled out. CEOs just doubled security and twisted Luigi to delegitimize political dissent. All the while, my mom, whose health concerns turned into cancer last month, is left with no concrete policy action or reform. When we're caught up in unloading our rage and grief, we overlook resolution, believing that violence against our opposition is the only justice that we need. We dehumanize our opponents into merely an evil that we must eradicate. And ultimately, we craft a tale in which that violence makes us the hero. It's how Trump declared at last March's CPA conference. I am your justice, your retribution, to perpetuate these same righteous vengeance narratives that facilitated anti-LGBTQ homicides to rise by 86% after his inauguration, and hate crimes to surge by 226% in counties where he held rallies. And on the other side, after Trump's attempted assassination, Democrat Jacqueline Marsaw posted, "Don't miss." And on election day, an Instagram note in my feed read, "I'll rape you, so you know what a Trump presidency feels like." We have all been victim to this "they deserved it" fallacy, to some extent believing that the way we were wronged makes us right. Yet it's in packaging even our most heinous cruelty as noble that we become our own kind of pernicious villain. A couple years ago, I was wronged by my own debate partner. He belittled me, did everything he could to make me feel worthless. And I felt so invisible. Not just because of him, but also my friends who told me to just let it go. In my frustration and misery, I said something that I now really regret. I want to bash his head in. What scares me is that I really meant it when I said that. But I realized it was because I truly felt like the only way to make him undeniably acknowledge my pain was to make him feel it himself. When we feel caged in our suffering by silence and ignorance, failed by our systems of justice, revenge seems like our last and only chance at liberation. To lash out and say, "I'll make you hear me." From violent protesters who destroy city blocks to make you hear the damage that's etched into their own communities, to parents who abuse and neglect their kids to make them hear the pain of growing up unloved like they did. How many of us shut people out, do or say things that we know are mean, or give silent treatment to even the people we love, knowing that it would hurt them? When we ask, "How does it feel?" we really mean to ask, "Do you understand how I feel?" Because truly, behind the rage, we don't get revenge because we want to see them suffer. We get revenge because we want to feel understood. But it's time that we resurrect mercy and true justice. And unlike them, we don't need 4 reincarnations to get there. First, we need to distinguish between revenge and justice. When you're wronged and want to hurt someone back, ask yourself, not how can I make them feel what I feel, but how can I make sure no one feels this again? Let's follow in the footsteps of students at Perry High School. less than an hour away from where I competed, right there in Iowa. After a tragic school shooting in January of last year by a student who wanted vengeance for years of bullying, they vowed not to submit to vengeance themselves, instead channeling their grief into community service and into a call for policy action against gun violence. They understood real resolution requires restoration, not retaliation. Next, we must remedy the pain that's driving our desire for revenge by understanding our underlying unfulfilled needs. Psychotherapist Esther Kane recommends writing the unsent letter. In a letter, vent all of your anger and pain to that person who hurt you, but don't send it. Doing so gives you the space to witness and process your pain, plus the needs it may be communicating, allowing us to divert our emotional outlet from revenge into an opportunity for constructive self-healing. Because true justice isn't about getting even. It's about getting better. In Buddhist retellings, my version of Jing Tam Kiang, the fairy godmother is the goddess of mercy, Quang Te Am Bo Tat, or thee who listens to the cries of the world. We must listen, because the weight of our collective vengeance is only indicative of the growing amount of anger and grief in our world. So, with the magic of humanity and mercy, let's transform our tattered rags of pain into beautiful garments of healing.